Sure, I'd love to tell you the story of San Padre Pio. Picture a warm spring day in 1887 in the tiny hill town of Pietrelcina, nestled in the mountains of southern Italy. A baby boy is born in a humble stone house to a poor farming family, Gracio and Maria Forgione. They name him Francesco, after Saint Francis, the saint his mother loved so deeply. From the moment he could talk, little Francesco is different. At just 5 years old, he tells his mother he wants to give his whole life to Jesus. He sees angels and even demons as a child, visions that would follow him his whole life. He grows up working the fields, tending sheep, but his heart is already in prayer. His family scrapes together money. His father even sails to America to earn enough so Francesco can study. At 15, he knocks on the door of the Capuchin friars and says goodbye to the world. He takes the name Pio and steps into a life of poverty, silence, and sacrifice. Those early years in the monastery are hard. Pio is always sick. Fevers, headaches, lungs that won't let him breathe easy. The other friars worry he'll never make it. But he studies, prays, and on a bright August day in 1910, at just 23, he becomes a priest. Right after his ordination, something mysterious happens. He feels the wounds of Christ appear on his hands and feet for the first time. They come and go, like a secret between him and Jesus. World War I breaks out. Pio gets drafted, sent to a military hospital in Naples. But his body is too frail. They send him home again and again. Finally, in 1916, the Capuchins send him to a remote, windy monastery on the Gargano mountain in San Giovanni Rotondo. It's a poor, forgotten place with a little church called Our Lady of Grace. Pio thinks he'll live out his days there quietly. He has no idea the whole world is about to come knocking. Then comes September 20th, 1918. Pio is praying alone in the choir loft after hearing confessions all morning. Suddenly, a heavenly figure appears, Jesus himself, or maybe an angel with a flaming sword. Fire pierces his hands, his feet, his side. When he comes to, blood is flowing. The stigmata have returned, and this time, they never leave. For the next 50 years, those open wounds bleed, especially on Fridays, yet they never infect, never heal. A sweet perfume like violets and roses rises from them. He tries to hide the wounds under mittens and thick socks, embarrassed that God chose him for such a sign. Word spreads like wildfire. People start arriving, first a few, then hundreds, then thousands. They come for confession. Pio can sit in that wooden box for 12, 14, even 18 hours a day. He reads souls like an open book. A man walks in planning to lie about his sins. Before he even kneels, Pio looks at him and says, "You're forgetting the one you committed last Tuesday in the city." The man falls to his knees in tears. Sinners leave transformed. One famous story: a wealthy businessman flies in from America, waits 3 days for confession, and when his turn comes, Pio sends him away, saying, "Go home, you're not ready." The man returns months later, truly repentant, and leaves a different person. But the gifts don't stop there. Pio bilocates. He's seen in 2 places at once. During World War II, Allied pilots report a bearded monk floating in the air over San Giovanni Rotondo, making their planes malfunction so they can't bomb the monastery. The town is spared. A mother in Sicily prays desperately for her blind daughter. Pio appears at her bedside, touches the girl's eyes, and she sees for the first time. A woman dying of throat cancer receives a letter from a Polish archbishop named Karol Wojtyła asking Pio to pray for her. She's healed in days. That archbishop later becomes Pope John Paul II. Pio suffers terribly. Demons attack him at night, beating him, tempting him, leaving bruises. His body is racked with pain from the wounds and from endless illnesses. Yet every morning at 4 a.m., he rises for Mass. The Mass lasts hours because he falls into ecstasy, tears streaming down his face as he relives the Passion of Christ. People wait in line for days just to attend. He builds a hospital, Casa Sollievo della Sofferenza, the home for the relief of suffering, right on the mountain. It's a miracle in itself. Funded by donations from around the world, a world-class facility where the sick are treated with both medicine and prayer. He tells the doctors, "This is not just a hospital. It's a temple where the suffering meet the healing Christ." The Church doesn't always understand him. For years, some Vatican officials suspect fraud. They ban him from saying public Mass, from hearing confessions, even from leaving the monastery. Pio obeys without a word of complaint, praying in silence while thousands wait outside the gates. Eventually, the restrictions lift. Popes come to visit. The crowds grow until the little town becomes one of the busiest pilgrimage sites in the world. On September 22, 1968, 50 years to the day after receiving the stigmata, Pio celebrates his last Mass. He's 81, frail, barely able to stand. That night, in his small cell, surrounded by his brothers, he clutches his rosary, whispers, "Jesus, Mary," and slips peacefully into eternity. When they prepare his body, the stigmata are gone. No scars, no trace, as if Jesus had taken back the signs he had lent him. Today, millions still visit San Giovanni Rotondo. His body rests in a crystal casket in the great sanctuary he never lived to see completed. People pray his simple words, "Pray, hope, and don't worry. Worry is useless. God is merciful and hears our prayers." His life was pain, prayer, and love poured out for souls. A humble friar who bore the wounds of Christ so that the world might believe again. And that's the story of San Padre Pio. Want me to keep going with more of his miracles or a particular chapter?
That's all. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure sharing it with you.